The live stream, welcome. My name's Cyndi Williams. I'm known as the Travel Career Coach. My purpose in life is to help motivate and inspire people to follow their bliss into abundance, and I do that by way of helping them build their dream travel businesses. And the live stream is something I do for my advocacy work here on our channel. I see some little thumbs ups, and when you guys' comments are coming through, I'm going to try to watch on Facebook and on where I'm streaming. So I'm going to look two places at once, so hopefully I won't miss any questions or comments. But yeah, so that's my hey Kristen, you're new here. Yay, welcome. So yeah, so that's my purpose in life. I started in the travel industry in the 90s, and so I have a lot of knowledge, experience, results to share. I run my own award-winning awesome travel agency, and now I share all my secrets with this community and my clients who work with me. Hey Becky, good morning. I see you can only be here a few minutes. Yes, I saw it's your daughter's birthday. That's so exciting. Tell her we said hello. Hey Michelle. So today, and actually the whole month of March, I was, sometimes topics for the live stream just kind of come to me based on what's going on in my clients' lives, what they're struggling with, what they need help with. But this time it came out of a real life experience for me. I am coming out of one of the craziest months I have had in years in terms of chaos and mayhem. And it just reminded me, sometimes I feel like the universe just throws me some stuff so I can learn from it and then turn around because it knows I have this community watching me. I feel like I had to go through this learning curve of remembering what it's like to get out of that cycle of crap. And so I'm going to share that story with you here in a second. But we're really going to talk about, over the month of March, and today specifically, what are the impacts when you're stuck in that place where you're like, oh, my life is so crazy. I would love to have an amazing travel business, or I would love to do whatever your goal is, but I'm too busy. I have this going on. This is crazy. I have family commitments and this going on. My health's not good. Whatever could be the mayhem that's kind of circling and taking over your life, right? So if you stay in that cycle too long, because it can happen. It can really delay your dreams for years, for weeks, months, years, if you don't recognize you're in the pattern and if you don't do anything to correct it and get back on, reroute, renavigate. What does the GPS say? Rerouting, right? When you went this wrong way this way, but how do we get back? Because when you're in the thick of it, it's really hard to do that because it feels like everything is just coming down on you in bucketfuls, right? And I think just as we have a lot of, I can see the demographics on our channel, we have a lot of women on the channel and men too, because my husband is a super dad. So the kids require a lot of attention. And so when do you find that time to grow your travel business so you can finally get out of where maybe you're working in a corporate job you don't like, or maybe you want to do travel full time and it seems impossible because you're still doing all this other stuff and trying to launch your dream. So kills your productivity, can set you back, and worst of all, it can put you in like a downward spiral where the gremlins are like, well, you could never do that. Who has time to do that? And then you start the blame game or the shifting or the, I just can't take on one more thing. And that feels really real when you're in it. So it's a bad scene. It is a bad scene. And we've all been there. We've all been through periods of extreme chaos and extreme shift and change. And that's a good way to think about it. Think of it instead of the world coming down as something shifting so something else can happen. That's from a universal perspective how I like to think about it. So I'll tell you my story. And it's so related to manifesting, right? Because I've been talking about, for those of you who follow my channel on YouTube or Instagram or any of those places, you might know that I used to own another type of business, a franchise business in Houston. We owned that for 10 plus years, super successful, loved it for many years, but travel was taking over. It was my passion. So I wanted to shift, just like most of you do, to working in travel full time. And so a year ago, 2 years ago almost now, we sold that business and moved to Austin. And in that process, it was a very difficult process. you know, it was letting go of an old business, moving our entire family to a different part of the state. But I just kept manifesting, oh, this house, I see this house on this certain hill, and I want to live in the hill country. And I was working through, you know, just going towards that goal. So when we first came to Austin, we found an amazing house, and it wasn't a hill. It didn't have the exact view that I wanted, but it had the pool and it had everything. We were so excited. Hey, Jody, I need Cyndi time today. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. And I have such craziness to share today. So we found this amazing house, and I thought, this is it. This is perfect. So we ended up getting that house, and it was in competition. Like, it was the weirdest story, but I met the owner of the house, and we do kind of the same thing. He does group coaching for a different industry, and so we hit it off, and we ended up getting the house over other people that wanted it. Anyway, long story short to say, we lived in that house for about 6 months, and my husband says, babe, I have to take you to see this property. And I'm like, no, like, we're already in this house. I love it. It's fine. It's good. It's good enough, right? The ego always tells us it's good enough. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to humor him because I'm probably going to lunch out the deal, go on this day date while the kids are at school. And he drives me out to this property, and most of the lots were like gone. And the sales lady said, well, we have a new section like opening. It's the last one where we have nice lots and they have really good views. I think you should come see it. Like, you couldn't even get back there. She had to move the barriers and drive us back to these woods. And anyway, we get over there, and she's like, they're not even for sale yet. We're gonna put them up in a few weeks or whatever, and you have to get on a waiting list, and there's competition for them. And I see this lot, right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, shit, this is what I always envisioned. Like, it's on this hilltop, and has this, you know, just epic panoramic view of the hill country in Austin. I'm like, oh, I have to have this, because I feel like this is the one that had been manifesting this whole time from way back when we started in Houston. So I was like, crap, what are we going to do? So we bought it. We went ahead and bought it, and the build process takes a long time. So our other house sold so quickly, like, it sold super fast, and then we're like, oh my gosh. So now we're at the top of February, right? So we're building our house. We're like, it's not going to be done till fall. And here in Austin, if any of you guys live in Austin or have lived in Austin, it is a super competitive market for rentals and for purchasing. And so we talked to our realtor, and they're like, you're not going to be able to get like a lease unless it's at least 6 months long. So it's actually good that this house is sold and you can kind of move on. So I was like, oh my gosh. So we had thought for a second, let's go back to Houston because we still own a property there. My husband's like, no, I want to stay in Austin. And anyway, long story short, we were in competition to get this stupid rental property because they go so fast. And we're literally packing the house, right? Packing the whole house. And I don't even know where I'm going. The moving company's like, you're moving in 3 days. You know where you're going? I'm like, I don't know. I'll let you know. Like, the universe is working it out. Like, what are you talking about? So, but it did. Everything worked out fine. We got a nice rental. I'm in it right now. It's my new office. I know it looks exactly like the other one. That's by design. But, so we move in, and then the kids have to change schools. They have to go to their new schools where the house is going to be, where we're building. And in the meantime, our house we own in Houston, we have tenants there. It's a rental property for us. It was their time to leave, and so we had to go to Houston a week after we moved here and clear out our, get that house ready to go. And we had storage units still in Houston. We cleared out. Anyway, chaos, clutter, chaos, clutter. So you guys see what I'm getting at. Like, everything's coming down. And you know, when kids start school, like, you get all that stuff. Imagine starting mid-year and going to get uniforms and all their books, and it was really nutty. And on top of it, when we got into this house, like, I wasn't like sleeping really well. I'm like, do I need to feng shui this place? So anyway, I recognized a couple weeks ago, like, I'm in this funk, and if I don't fix it, like, I gave myself a good chunk of time, like 10 days to like get adjusted and do all the stuff. And I wasn't getting through the adjustment period as quickly as I wanted to, but that's life. Sometimes that happens. So, but what I recognize is if I don't shift and if I don't change, I'm going to get into this weird funk where I go into autopilot and I just stay in like good enough. And that's not who I am. It's not who any of us really are. We're creators, and we want to expand and we want to grow. So, I'm going to share with you kind of how I rerouted and the steps I recommend for you to, whenever you're feeling that overwhelm and that chaos and that mayhem, what are the things that you can do? So the first thing is take ownership. Like, recognize you're in that place. It's look at it like a business thing instead of an emotional thing, because it feels, hi Tara, it feels super emotional. Hey Jennifer, I see everyone. Hey Heather. It's one of those things that feels super emotional because it's happening to you. Like, it feels like everything's coming. But really, if you think of the root of it, I'm like, I brought this on myself. Like, I manifested this new life in Austin. So stuff had to move around to get to what my vision was and to get what my goal was, which was to have this custom home on the top of a hill and this grand vision that I cooked up. So why am I surprised when the universe has to move all this crap around in order for it to show up in my life? So, of course chaos has to happen. I didn't want to have to move twice. Like, that sucks. I wish I could have manifested that differently. But when you're doing big things in your life, stuff has to move around. It has to change. It has to shift. But when you go through those periods, take ownership. Don't go, oh, I can't be successful because I don't have time. I can't be successful because of this. I can't be successful because of XYZ. Here's the steps that you can take to take the reins back and put yourself back in the driver's seat. So number one, do a pattern reset. The first thing that you need to do is decide what your priorities are. And this is a big one, because like, when people say they don't have time to do something, what it really means is it's not a priority for them to do it, or they don't want it bad enough. When, think about like exercise, like, if I don't have time to exercise, what you're really saying is, I don't care enough about my health to really get off the couch and hit the gym or take a walk or do whatever. If you don't want to take that next training program to take your business to the next level, what you're really saying is it's not as important enough to me right now because I have other priorities, or I don't care enough about that to make my priority list. Every day you get done the things that are most important to you. I bet all of you probably slept last night, some better than others, I'm sure. Probably everybody's kids got fed yesterday, right? Because it's a priority. So you want to be clear about where your business fits into that, and understand that to grow, it's got to be somewhere in your top 4, right? Top 3, top 4, ideally top 3. So here's how my list kind of flushes out, and you guys do your own. I encourage you to do this. So number 1 is my kids and family. Like, nothing's going to come before that. We've been really fortunate. We've built our entire life around our family. My husband works in our travel empire, if you will, 100% of the time too. So, but everything is focused around the kids. We get the kids off to school in the morning, we have our time during the day, kids come home, business shuts down, and everything focuses around that. So kids and family are first, and we've designed our life around that. But even if we didn't have that, they would still come first, right? If I was in corporate or whatever. The second thing on my priority list is my business commitments. Like, I have clients who pay me a lot of money to make sure that their travel businesses are growing and I'm helping them. So making sure that I am showing up and I am present and I am engaged for my clients, making sure I'm working on, the stuff I'm doing right now, the advocacy work. Like, trust me, I still got boxes to unpack. I could be doing that right now, but you guys count on me to kind of be here and help you move to the next level. So I take my business commitments very seriously. It's number 2 on my list. 3 is self-care. Self-care should be on your top list somewhere, because you cannot pour from an empty vessel. So Monday, for example, even though we still are wrapping up some of this chaos, even though I have business commitments, even though stuff is going on, I decided to make it Manicure Monday, and I went and got my nails done on Monday, right? Just took an hour or 2 to go and kind of chill out. And guess what? I had a super productive day on Monday. We had a huge sales day. I didn't take one call, but we had huge days in my company because I have all this other stuff in place, right? But you have to have that self-care in place. If you do right by yourself where that's concerned, you're going to serve your family better. You're going to serve your business better. So make sure you have some downtime, whether it's to read a book, take a bubble bath. You need that time to reset, or you're just going to be running on empty and not be able to even recognize you're in this crazy dead-end cycle. And the 4th thing on my priority list is growth initiatives. I'm always working on growth. And another quick story, like, even though I have all this chaos going on, I signed up for a really intensive, next level marketing program. That's what I do. I go out and I pay consultants ridiculous amounts of money to teach me the latest, the greatest, the what's coming. And then I refashion it for our world and I package it back to you guys for how you can use it in the travel industry. So I knew this training was coming in March, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're moving. Can I do this? Can I sign up for it? And I'm like, I just have to, it's on my top 4 list. Let me figure out how I'm going to do it. So I had to really go through my schedule. So once you have that schedule together, if you have something you're trying to work on for a growth initiative or to move your business to that next level, you take the time to go, where the heck am I going to fit this in? So for me, I get up at 5:30 and I go through the coursework before my kids get up, and then it's kids time. They go off to school, and then I have some time in between again before my client calls start. And that is my growth initiative time where I'm working on stuff for my business. And I also schedule some days at the end of every single month to work on my business, not in my business. So that's what my pattern is on a regular basis. And what my priorities are. So that's what happens in my life because that's what I'm focused on. So figure out what that list is for you and how you're going to fit everything in. Second is make sure on a regular basis, is something I teach my clients straight in going into our program, is identify your energy leaks and time suckers. And I'm going to give you guys back like 5 hours right now in your life. You're going to love this. Get excited. So go after this. You can do it now. You're watching. You're probably multitasking anyway. Go to your iPhone later or whenever and go to settings, screen time, last 7 days. That's where your time's going. And look, mine's ridiculous. My phone's off because we're live streaming. But I looked it up and I'm like, holy crap. My screen time was something like 30 hours a couple weeks ago. And that's when we were doing all this moving and all this shifting and stuff, right? So, and part of that is because, of course, I'm here with you right now and I run Facebook groups and we do all this stuff for the business, but it's not all business. Let's be realistic, right? Like we're doing a lot of scrolling, y'all. Your time is getting eaten up, and it may seem counterintuitive for me as an online coach to tell you, get off your phones, but really for your health and what will serve your life better is look at what that time is costing you and say, you know what? What I try to do is I say, okay, I'm going to check in on social media at a couple points during the day instead of every second, every free moment I get, because it takes you away so quickly. So I promise a minimum, I'm guessing, of like 5 hours a week. But for those of you who are super users, I bet you're going to really be shocked by what that says. The second thing is try to tidy up your office and home, and don't try to do it all at once. Just schedule time to do it. First thing we did when I moved into our home, before the movers had even left, I had pretty much had my office unpacked because this is where I live, right? On a daily basis. I'm in my office. I need to be productive. It needs to be an environment where I feel inspired and it's not chaotic. So look at your workspace first and say, if you're trying to be more productive in work and in business, and, get it dusted off, clean off the old papers off your desk. Just get it into a place where you feel like, when you come in with your coffee in the morning, you're like, man, I love being in here. You don't realize how that's kind of sucking away at your energy, but that really can do it. That's one. Also, look, if you have lots of clutter and stuff in your house, like just schedule out. Like, you know what? That one area, just my kids drive me crazy with stuff on the island. In fact, I don't mean to tell so many stories today, but I have this rule. If you leave crap on the kitchen island, I'm put on the floor. So all the time they come in and their crap's on their books, their lunch boxes, get it off my kitchen island. But it's the way that I show them, this is a clutter-free space. So whatever those things are that drive you crazy, just schedule it. It doesn't all have to happen at once. That's too overwhelming. But just say, you know what, this month I'd love to get that room cleaned up and that room cleaned up. And just kind of knock it off your list. And before you know it, the whole house is feeling better. You have better energy and everything's kind of a little bit lighter. Schedule, that's what I was saying. Schedule time. I'm reading my notes here. So I already went through that one. The last one's a fun one. Eliminate time sucks or energy vampires, if you will, out of your life. What do I mean by that? So all of you guys have, or maybe you don't, I don't know. I've cleared most of mine at this point. There's people in your circle, whether it be people at school, people at your work, family sometimes can be that. Those people that always bring in drama and stress and chaos, you have to really put them through a filter. I'm not saying break off relationships, but you can put people at arm's length or say, oh, I'm super busy. Sorry that's going on with you. But if you get involved in drama and all this upheaval of stuff, it just takes your energy and your mind space and everything, even celebrity stuff that happens, like, oh, Kylie Jenner's a billionaire. Did everybody hear today? I don't have time for that in my headspace. I'm super happy for her. That's awesome. I wish her all the best. But I don't need to have a 20-minute conversation about how amazing it is. It is amazing. So Kylie, congratulations. But point being is if, people love to tell stories, the other thing is the news, right? People love to tell stories about, oh, this horrible thing I heard about the news or blah, blah, blah. Like, I want people to be aware, you have to be in this world that we live in today. But when I've gone through the most difficult times in my business, the news is a lot of bad, chaos, bad. Turn the freaking news off. If you're getting a lot of stuff on your feed that's negative and you're on Facebook or on these social platforms every day, do the snooze. You can snooze people, right? Snooze them or take them off or, just unfollow people, right? They don't see that you unfollow them. Get those people off your feed so it's just not in your daily consciousness. You don't even realize how much it eats up your time. When I come into every day, I do a process that I teach my clients, kind of a morning routine where I'm moving forward every day with clarity and intention. I start my day that way. So anything that comes in the way of those 4 priorities, my kids, my business commitments, my self-care, my growth initiatives, it just really doesn't matter that much. And I just think about it like kind of sweeping leaves or clearing space to focus on those things that I need to do to accomplish my goals and to be present and meet my priorities. So think about what are those people and time suckers and get them out of your world. The last thing is recognize you can't do it all. It's just it's a reality. There's so much to do. Allow yourself the space to know that 1, you're taking ownership and it's going to get done. It might take some time, but there is no reason, there's no productive reason to give yourself extra stress. And that's what you do. And that's why this chaos can feel so big and so overwhelming. When we had all the boxes and I'm like, oh my God. And my husband's he's unpacking his stuff. He's like, where's the toaster? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll buy you a new one. I'm not going to get stressed out about it. Right. It's one of those things where, but if you let the walls close in on you, but instead I kind of said, look, we're still not unpacked here. We got to go to Houston. So now I got to find the luggage and do all this stuff. You take it one day at a time. You take a little bit at a time, and that is what will really help you, get there. And don't give yourself stress or chaos because it just makes you less productive. And it does that thing of adding the clutter to your brain. The other thing is you need to start saying no to some things. Stop doing shit that doesn't set your soul on fire. If you don't want to do brownie time at Girl Scouts and I love Girl Scouts, whatever. I was a Girl Scout. I have all the badges. There's a video on YouTube about it. But the 8 million things I sign up at school, the first week my kids are at the school, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all these things happening. And I just went I'm okay, kids, you can pick one. You can each pick one that you want to do over the next 3 months and we'll do it. So it's one of those things. Or if, friends want you to do something you really don't want to do, just say, I think I'm going to just hang out at home. I'm just going to do some self-care stuff or whatever. You need to start being able to say no to things on a regular basis so you can say yes to the things that are really important to you, which are those things you're going to come up with on that priority list. It is okay to protect your time. You have to do it or you'll never get everything done. You'll be staying in this cycle forever and it'll be the worst. Oh my God, I love this I did these notes 3 days ago. Last note on here. Oh, I want to show you guys. It says, hang on. It's okay to take a nap. It's okay. Oh my God, I forgot I wrote that. It is okay to take a nap. Look, it's life, right? Sometimes before you can even think about conquering a big, huge task, how am I going to get out of this chaos, is you just got to reset. So whether it's taking a nap or going to coffee by yourself or, taking a bubble bath or whatever that thing is, it's okay to just take a break and let everything wait. Because if you don't, then it's going to show up in your world as sickness or not feeling well or migraine headaches or chaos. So just to recap, take ownership, decide what your priorities are to pattern reset, identify your energy leaks and just schedule how you're going to get rid of those energy leaks and recognize that you can't do it all. That's not a possibility, but what you can do are the things that are important. And if you do those things, your family will benefit, your business will benefit, and you will have a much richer, more full life. And that's what we're all trying to do, right? So today we talked about the mayhem, right? Next week, we're going to talk about manifesting. So once you start to come out of this mayhem cycle and recognize and take accountability over getting yourself out of it, Now, how do we get what we want out of life, out of business, all that good stuff? And so that's why we're doing this live stream series over the next 3 weeks here in March. So definitely tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the Travel Career channel, and we also have our YouTube channel, so follow me there because sometimes I actually have some secret videos over on YouTube right now, so subscribe over there as well. But listen, if you guys are trying to grow, manifest an amazing travel business, that's what I work with people on every single day with my mastermind called Careers on Vacation. You can apply for the program. We have limited spots. We're actually super busy and just came out of a waitlist situation, so we do have a couple spots left going in, I think, middle or end of this month. But you can apply below careersonvacation.com/ready now and apply and just get clarity on your business and see if it would be a mutual fit to kind of work together to grow. But no matter what, guys, I wish you the world. I wish you so much love and so much abundance. Tune in next week and we will talk about manifesting and making all this fun stuff come true for you guys. I love you guys so much. Bye.